fine. Yep.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. As promised, I've got my good friend Emily Jones here again from Old 300 Title. This week, we're going to dig a little bit further into title documents and explain a little bit more about what they mean. Well, Emily's going to explain. Specifically the title commitment. And she's going to explain what the different schedules are in the title commitment, and then we'll talk about some of the other documents that we need. Yeah. Emily, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, perfect. Well, today we're going to be talking about the title commitment and all of the information inside. So, what is a title commitment? That is the question we get asked the most, and it lists any potential issues and or exceptions that are on the property. It alerts the buyers of any potential problems or anything that could exist on the property or after the property. We don't want anyone's grandma to come knocking on the door saying, hey, I own this piece of property. So we're ensuring it is clean and clear and no current issues are on the property. Now, if they are, and sometimes they are, we, the title experts, want to get that clear. And that's when we say we want a clear title. That is what we're talking about. So we can help with any of those potential issues, and or an attorney can also get involved in the transaction. So it is broken down into 4 different schedules. It's Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C, and Schedule D. They could have came up with another name, right?
Sounds pretty simple.
Yes. So we're going to start with Schedule A. We call that actual facts. Actual facts start off with the date that it's issued, the date that we are guaranteed, the names of the insured, which is vesting, and the legal description. So these are all items on Schedule A that disclose to the buyer and the seller and our awesome lenders like you who is in title and who will be insured. So it shows you the policy amounts or sales prices. It goes into depth as, is there a estate? Is there not? It's who is it vested title, and if we have to correct any vesting. So it says subject fee requirements through vesting. So that's where we find out who is in title. Okay. B. Schedule B is buyer beware. So that is our schedule where we're like, oh, we're the owl. Beware. Beware. Okay. The next one, this one is stating that anything that is recorded on the property. So we are disclosing any recorded restrictions, liens, mineral reservations that are on the property. So who reserved their mineral rights? So if in a regular warranty deed, it is conveyed over to you automatically. People can reserve mineral rights. So this is where it would show who has them and if any leases are on the property.
So if I strike oil on my property, it might not be my oil.
It's probably not yours. I can say it. Yeah. Yes. Again, it's someone's grandma's grandma. That's what I say often. It guarantees that the taxes are paid. So we have to pay taxes or make sure taxes are up to date on every file that we close. So that is why we issue tax certs and guarantee that those items are paid on the property. If they're not, we do pay them. So that is just us guaranteeing the year that it is paid or good through. It limits the liabilities that we are issued. Schedule C. This one here is clear to close. This is the one that everyone usually looks at and that they're worried about. These are the items that we have to clear before we close the transaction.
Right.
So this is where your payoffs are. This is where your tax liens are located, your HOA liens, your abstracted judgments. These are where we know we have to pay off these items in order to issue clean title to the buyer.
Okay. Would a federal tax lien show up there?
Sure will, right there.
Property tax liens?
Right there.
What about a lien from a vendor that installed an AC system in your house and you never paid on it?
A mechanic's lien will show right there. So any liens on the property or subject to property will show there. Okay. And that's when we will ask for a payoff to that said party.
Okay.
Schedule D. Schedule D is disclosure. Disclosure. We are a disclosure state. So in Schedule D, it states who our officers are with the title company. It also states who the officers are with the underwriter. It discloses any premiums that are calculated per the contract and loan amount. Policies are from the sales price or the amount that they're borrowing, and that is a regulated number.
Gotcha.
So if you were in El Paso or Orange, Texas, it would cost the same at every title company for the policies and the endorsements that are requested.
Gotcha.
It also discloses the beneficiary premiums. So those are just all items that are disclosed. We get asked a few times, why and what type of policies are there? An owner's and a loan policy. You hear mortgage policy and loan policy, similar, same thing, I would say. And then the owner's title policy. Owner's title policy states it protects you against any losses from ownership when you are purchasing the property. It is stating that we are clearing and knowing that nobody has rights to that property but you on the day of closing. So it ensures that it protects you against any losses of ownership or that were done prior to your property or you obtaining your property to today. Now, for example, if you could lose your property due to fraud, errors and omissions, items in fraudulent deeds, but your owner's policy protects you against that.
Okay. How long does an owner's title policy last?
It actually lasts for the whole time you own the property and any of your heirs.
Wow, I didn't know it transferred to heirs.
Yes. So if they own the property as well, TDI says that they are granted that owner's title policy.
Okay. Is there a little bit of paperwork maybe when you inherit that property?
As long as you're the heir,
Yep.
And you have vested deeds that says that you are that owner, you are good to go.
That's good information that we should all know.
Yes. There are two types of policies on the owner side. There's a commercial and residential. A T1 is commonly used for commercial and also undeveloped land. And a T1R is mostly residential.
Okay.
So that's what we see on the regular. But those contracts for undeveloped land, or we get those T1R.
Okay.
T1.
Okay.
Sorry. A loan policy. This is what your shebang is. This is what we insure clean title for you. The loan policy is issued to the mortgage lender. It protects the lender on the loan until it is paid off. So it is the full life of the loan. Once your last payment is made, it is no more. So it is for the life of the loan and just ensures that no other interest in the property. It's just your borrower.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, Emily. Hopefully we're going to have an opportunity to refinance here in the very near future. We're all hoping. What happens when I refinance my home to the existing lender's title policy?
If you do it in a time frame, you actually get a credit. It's called an RA credit, and you can get up to 50% off of that policy you've already purchased.
Perfect.
So it goes down to 25%, but 25% is a wonderful amount if you can refinance your loan within 7 years.
Awesome. Yep. I'm all about saving money myself. So.
Yes.
Okay.
So those are the three policies that we have, the two policies that we have that we insure most commonly.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about some of the other documents that are needed. A lot of times, an agent or a buyer or seller sees that title commitment, they think, oh, all the title work's in.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually more to it, isn't there?
There is a whole title request that the lender sends over to the title company.
Okay.
And we call that our title request email.
Okay.
So there is the title commitment 1, which is what we just went over, a closing protection letter, which we call a CPL.
Okay.
That ensures that us title companies are not frauds. So that's our E&O insurance. And we're just guaranteeing that we are not fraudsters for you.
Good to know.
Yes. The next one is chain of title, which would be vesting deeds. We usually go back 24 months for the last 3 deeds. You usually are the ones who say, hey, we just want to see at least when it conveyed, who is it coming from and who conveyed it to them, the vested owner. So we usually just get that over from the prior deed and the new vesting deed.
So chain of title is important to us because depending on the loan program, there are some rules against when properties can change hands. Specifically, FHA, their flip rule says that you can't transfer that property within 90 days. And then there's some steps, in that 91 to 180 day period too. So that's always something that's important that we're looking for as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The next one, a big one, is wiring instructions. So we want you to verify those wiring instructions with anyone in our offices. We want you to make sure that those closing funds come to our office securely, and wiring instructions. I can't say it enough. We don't want any wire fraud to be going on in any of our files.
And we don't either. So I'm the first one to tell our client, hey, you need to speak with Emily at the title company if she's handling your title work. But verify those verbally with Emily or your escrow officer to make sure that they're legit and you're wiring money to the right place.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of fraud out there, and we just want to protect you from that.
Yes. Another item that you usually request is a prelim closing disclosure. So a prelim closing disclosure would state any premiums, endorsements, or any title fees that we are disclosing to the client before they close. So we want them to get the best known item for what the closing statement would be on the title side, and we disclose that to you on the preliminary closing disclosure.
Okay. And then that's how we get our fees, and we start a little back and forth and balance to come up with the final.
There we go.
How much cash we need to bring to closing and those kind of things.
Yes.
That's where we start. What else is needed?
If it is in an HOA, you would have to have an HOA cert. And that has lots of different items. It could be a statement of account. It could be a resale certificate. It just depends on that mandatory addendum per the contract when it's filled out.
Okay. When somebody hears CC&Rs, what is that?
Those are restrictions on the property. So per the HOA, they have their own guidelines. So those are their guidelines in their neighborhood. So that pink and purple house that you want, your dream house, you can't have it. If it's in those restrictions, it's the basketball goals, it's the cutting your grass, it's putting your trash can up, by 8 o'clock at night. So it's just little restrictions per the community to get everything clean and nice, and cars aren't parked out there. So just make sure that your community is going to stay well for a long time.
Honestly, a lot of people don't like an HOA, but, it helps to retain your property value.
It does.
You don't want some junky neighbors living next door that are just depreciating your value. So,
exactly.
They're worth having. As things are growing, we're seeing more and more development outside of the metro areas. Mm-hmm. So are you starting to see more HOAs, homeowner associations?
Here in the area, we are. We are seeing them at very low numbers, and transfer fees are very low. So it's nothing like in the city of Houston or in the Katy suburb. But, you are seeing those $175 transfer fees, and you're seeing that there are deed restrictions getting filed within the communities. So there's guidelines.
Good. Okay. And that's all good stuff to know. So, Emily, thank you again so much for coming out. Always a pleasure to have you. I enjoy talking to you. Whenever I need anything, I can always reach out to Emily. She is just a wealth of knowledge. And if you need anything at all, feel free to reach out to her directly. Stay tuned for in the next few weeks. Next video, we're going to discuss how to double your buyer pool for those properties that need just a little bit of TLC, and also how to find that affordable dream home for those first-time home buyers. Everybody have a great week. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great one.